Before a bridge is built, before steel is cut, before concrete is poured, engineers build a model. They don't guess, they don't hope, they simulate stress. They calculate load limits. They test pressure points. They look for weakness before weakness becomes expensive. Shipbuilders do the same thing. They don't just assemble steel and pray it floats. They study balance. They measure displacement. They test how the structure responds under strain. Because once the real thing is built, mistakes are costly. Now here's the uncomfortable part. We do this for bridges. We do this for ships. We do this for skyscrapers. But we don't do it for the most important structure in our lives, our financial lives. Most people don't have a financial model. They have financial products, retirement accounts, stocks, mutual funds, insurance policies, real estate holdings. But products are not structure. They are parts. And parts that are not coordinated create independent risk. Here's the first hook. If you cannot clearly explain how your financial pieces support each other, they probably don't. Without a model, it is impossible to see coordination. You cannot see how cash flows connect. You cannot see where liquidity actually lives. You cannot see how risk shifts from one decision to another. You cannot see how taxes impact long-term compounding. Everything operates separately, and separate systems leak. Now let's address something directly. Whole life insurance. In a coordinated model, whole life is not an isolated product. It becomes the liquidity core of the structure. When properly designed and properly funded, it provides two things at the same time: steady growth and accessible capital. Cash value compounds. Death benefit protects and transfers wealth. But integration is where the power lives. If all your growth sits inside market-based assets, your access is tied to market conditions. If a downturn hits and you need capital, you have limited options. Sell investments at a loss, interrupt compounding, or delay your plans. That is not strategy. That is exposure. But when liquidity is intentionally built into the structure, you gain control. You can access policy cash value without liquidating volatile assets. You can allow market positions time to recover. You can reduce sequence risk in retirement. You can create optionality. That is, use and growth simultaneously. Your money continues working, and you retain access when needed. Midway question for you. Have you ever actually seen your entire financial life laid out in one coordinated model? Not statements, not separate accounts. One integrated structure showing how everything interacts. If not, in the comments, reply, "No model." Because awareness is the first step towards structure. Stocks and mutual funds are powerful growth tools, but they are standalone growth vehicles. They fluctuate, they react to markets, they do not stabilize themselves. Without integration, your entire system fluctuates with them. Income can hide this weakness. If you make good money, inefficiency stays invisible. Cash flow covers poor coordination until volatility shows up, until liquidity is needed, until retirement withdrawals begin. Here's another hook. If your financial plan only works when markets cooperate, you don't have a plan. You have optimism. Bridge builders don't eliminate wind, they design for it. Shipbuilders don't eliminate waves, they design for instability. A financial model does the same thing. It doesn't eliminate risk. It positions you to handle risk without panic. When protection, liquidity, and growth are intentionally integrated, the system strengthens. Liquidity supports growth during downturns. Growth compounds when markets rise. Protection stabilizes the entire structure. Without coordination, you own parts that compete. With coordination, you own a system that supports itself. Systems create efficiency. Efficiency compounds. Efficiency reduces stress. Most financial stress is not caused by lack of income. It is caused by lack of visibility. When you can see how everything works together, uncertainty drops. You understand where flexibility exists. You understand where guarantees exist. You understand where volatility exists. And you make decisions from structure, not emotion. You can own excellent products, but without a model, excellence operates alone. With a model, excellence integrates. And when your money begins working together instead of operating in isolation, that's when structure replaces stress. Everything of value starts with a model. Your financial life should be no different.